I actually have a lot of favorite TV shows, but I would say my all-time favorite is Friends. I started watching Friends when my daughter was born, and I was home with her, um, and not working in the evening. I was a chef at the time, and so I had always worked in the evening. So it started out, and I was home, and I started watching it. And I remember telling my husband about the show that I thought was pretty funny, and who knew what it would turn into. I love the characters. I love their quirks and their uniqueness. I have to say, it always makes me laugh. And I think the thing I love so much about it is the relationships that they form and how they evolve on the show, and also the fact that the humor is timeless. It's really interesting to me that you can go back and watch it, and the fashions have changed, but hanging out in a coffee shop is probably more relevant now than it ever was. And the way they use sarcasm has really evolved as a type of comedy they do in a lot of TV shows now. So it was one of a kind, and something that was really original. Um, and I really, really laugh when I watch it. I think that one of the really cool things about it is at the time when I was first cooking, I met someone, and his name was Kevin Bright, and he was working on a couple different shows, and I did some catering for him. And it turned out that he ended up being the executive producer of Friends. And who knew at the time that that's who he was going to come? Unfortunately, I moved away from LA and I lost that contact, but it would have been really cool to see him later. I think one of my favorite things about Friends is at some point my kids discovered it, and they love to watch it. It was a Christmas gift request from one of my kids, and I had to get the whole, 10 years of set, which was incredibly expensive. And I thought, why am I doing this? But you couldn't get it anywhere on Netflix at the time or on TV. And so we went and we got this, and they watch it over and over and over again. And when there's like a lapse in an evening, or if we're just hanging around, somebody always puts in Friends. And it's so much fun because we all have the episodes that we love. We all will be drawn to come together and to watch it and to talk about it. And um, it's really kind of turned into this wonderful family time for us. So I love it even more now, I think, than I did before. And there's episodes that I've watched with my kids that make me laugh harder because I watched it with my kids. Uh, and one of my boys decided he wanted to name our new puppy a couple years ago after one of the characters. So her name is Phoebe, and she is absolutely Phoebe. She's a little goofy, kind of oddball, really sweet and lovable. Um, so much like the actual character. It's really kind of interesting. I think that it's pretty cool that something like that can be so timeless and have made such a mark on just the art of this sitcom. So I will continue to watch Friends with my family, and I would say that it will always be one of my favorite shows.